She is observing you, a silent sentinel in the shadows of your life, grappling with thoughts of you, yet paralyzed by an unyielding hesitation to reach out. The reason for her silence will send tremors through your understanding of relationships. Many men meander through their lives in a fog of uncertainty, convinced that women share the same emotional compass as they do. They do not. A woman would rather endure the agony of solitude than confess she was mistaken. She would rather scrutinize your online presence, replay your stories in her mind, and whisper your name into the silence of her thoughts than take that decisive step. You may believe she has moved on, but in truth, she is watching, waiting, and hoping, though she will never make the first move. Grasping the reasoning behind her behavior could alter your entire outlook on love and connection. If you're prepared to confront the raw and unvarnished truth, if you have ever felt the sting of a woman who once adored you and now pretends you're a ghost, then this revelation may hold paramount importance in your life. Today, prepare to uncover 5 harsh realities about why she is observing but will never reach out. If you're ready to absorb every unfiltered truth with profound impact, then stay tuned. By the end of this journey, your perception of attraction and your self-worth will transform dramatically. First and foremost, she is ensnared in a cycle of observation. The urge to watch you is irresistible. She is caught in a web of her own making. It's not that she no longer cherishes you or that she has moved on. It's that she is enthralled by the act of watching without ever granting you the satisfaction of awareness. The thrill of observation holds her captive. From the shadows, she scrolls through your photos, inspects your stories, and revisits cherished memories. Yet she refuses to make the first move. Why? Because women navigate a distinct emotional landscape compared to men. When a man truly misses someone, he reaches out. He strives to mend what is broken. However, a woman will linger. She will plot her next move, testing the waters without uttering a single word. Her watching isn't driven by a desire to rekindle the flame. Rather, it's a quest for assurance that she still occupies a place in your thoughts. This is the essence of female psychology. The fear of rejection looms large. She cannot risk appearing vulnerable. To send a text, to make a call, to admit that you linger in her mind would mean relinquishing her power. She cannot afford to lose that edge. For to her, power supersedes the need for closure. So, instead of reaching out, she remains an observer. She allows time to weave its intricate tapestry, believing that eventually you will falter. She anticipates your engagement. She expects you to delve into her profile, to like her posts, to occupy her DMs. This is her game, her strategy, and many men unwittingly fall into its grasp. They spend countless weeks, months, sometimes even years, ruminating. If she's still watching, perhaps she still cares. But that is not how the feminine psyche operates. A woman typically does not reach out to the man she still desires. She reaches out to the man she fears losing forever. Currently, she does not perceive you as lost. She holds on to the belief that you will return. In the stillness, she observes, quietly gathering fragments of your life. Curiosity dances in her mind as she wonders whether you found happiness in her absence. She ponders if thoughts of her still linger in your heart, and if someone new has taken her place in your affections. The moment she detects any sign of contentment that stirs her insecurities, she won't reach out directly. No, her strategy is far more subtle. Instead, she'll craft a post designed to capture your attention, presenting an image of a life filled with joy and excitement, with pictures alongside other men. She seeks to provoke a reaction, all while maintaining the distance that protects her pride. For to contact you would be to confess that you still hold sway over her emotions, and relinquishing that power is a concession she is reluctant to make. If her desire to reconnect were genuine, she would not linger in the shadows. You would feel her presence. Her messages would flood your inbox, her calls would ring through, and she would exert every effort to bridge the gap. Women do not idly spectate when they realize they cannot afford to lose someone. If she is merely a distant observer, it implies that you remain an option rather than a priority in her life. This is a truth that must resonate within you. The instant you cease to pay her attention, when you fully detach from her life, that is when the tides will turn. She will find herself in a state of panic, grappling with uncertainty. Suddenly, she will be the one plagued by questions, lost in overthinking. Your absence will cast a shadow upon her thoughts, your silence resonating louder than any spoken word. For the first time, she will be left in the dark, unaware of your feelings or whether you have moved forward. And that uncertainty will gnaw at her. Moreover, it's crucial to realize that her fear lies not in losing you, but in losing her grip on the situation. She does not pine for you. Rather, she longs for the control she once wielded over your emotions. Her heart does not ache for what was lost. Instead, she finds herself fixated on whether she still holds you captive in her emotional web. If she genuinely feared your departure, she would never have let you slip away. This dynamic is not about love, but power. A woman may choose to leave a man not out of dissatisfaction, but because she senses her authority within the relationship waning. She will subject you to repeated tests, waiting to see if you can withstand the pressure. If you falter, if you show neediness, if you begin to elevate her above your own aspirations, she will initiate the process of detachment. Many men mistakenly believe that a breakup is an abrupt event. In truth, it unfolds gradually, layer by layer. By the time she finally decides to walk away, she has often been emotionally distancing herself for weeks, months, or even years, all the while searching for a reason to justify her departure. When that reason presents itself, she makes her move. Herein lies the common misstep for many men. They assume that her departure signifies a permanent end. They presume she has found someone new or that she has moved on to a life devoid of them. However, what often goes unnoticed is that women do not always leave with the finality of closing a chapter. They leave to gauge your reaction, to see if you will crumble, to chase after her, to plead for her attention, to prove that your world revolves around her. It is in that moment of vulnerability that they seek affirmation, confirming that their choice to leave was indeed the right one. In that pivotal instant when she witnesses your emotional unraveling, when she sees you lingering in uncertainty, it dawns on her that she holds the upper hand. It's precisely this realization that compels her to hold back from initiating contact. To her, reaching out first would signify an admission of vulnerability, a surrender of her grip on the situation. Women do not fear the prospect of losing a man. Their real anxiety lies in losing one they still have the power to influence. Contemplate this for a moment. If a woman genuinely cherishes a man, she will go above and beyond to ensure he remains a part of her life. She will engage in meaningful conversations, strive for compromises, and make her presence known. Conversely, if she stands by silently, observing from a distance, it's because she is convinced that she still wields the advantage. In her mind, you are waiting for her, checking her online presence, pondering over her, missing her, and replaying shared moments in your thoughts. As long as this belief endures, she feels no urgency to return. In her eyes, She occupies a significant space in your mind. Only when that illusion crumbles does her anxiety begin to surface. The instant she grasps that she has lost her influence over you, chaos ensues within her. This is why she will cautiously gauge the waters before making any move. She will carefully craft a post designed to pique your interest. A photo with another man, a status update that hints at nostalgia, or a song lyric that unmistakably resonates with your shared past. She will bide her time and observe your response. If you engage, she emerges victorious. If you remain silent, that's when uncertainty creeps in. Now, she questions her calculations, wondering if she has truly lost you, if you have moved on, or if someone new has taken her place. This is the moment when the dynamics shift. For her, the most profound fear is not about losing a man. It's about losing her hold on his emotions. This is why she will never take the initiative to reach out first. Acknowledging her missteps would mean relinquishing the power she cherishes. And for many women, that is simply intolerable. Thus, she remains in a state of observation, waiting and probing, hoping that eventually you will provide her with a reason to believe she still has sway over you. This is why the most impactful decision you can make is to withdraw entirely. The instant she senses your absence, when she realizes that you are no longer reacting, no longer monitoring her, and no longer waiting, her entire strategy begins to crumble. Suddenly, she finds herself in a position of doubt. She starts to stalk your online presence, questioning whether she has been replaced, reminiscing about the past, and second-guessing every choice she made. This is when true regret takes hold. For the first time, she is the one grappling with a loss of control. Now, she fears the thought of losing you more than she fears relinquishing power. And when that pivotal moment arrives, the facade begins to crack. The third principle emerges. The one who cares less emerges victorious. The moment you shift your focus and care less than she does, you have won. This unspoken principle of attraction remains elusive to many men. Women are not drawn to fairy tale romances. They do not become attached through mere words, promises, or shared histories. People often find themselves entranced by the allure of uncertainty, captivated by the enigma of not knowing where they truly stand with someone. The moment a woman perceives that she has figured you out, the instant she realizes you are waiting for her, and the moment she senses a lack of challenge, her interest begins to wane. She may still harbor feelings for you, she may still care, but the spark of pursuit is extinguished. In her perspective, you are already hers. Women do not chase after what they believe they possess. They chase what they fear might slip from their grasp. A woman will fixate on a man who remains just beyond her reach, losing sleep over his unpredictability. She will find herself deeply enamored with someone who makes her feel as though he could vanish at any moment. However, if she becomes aware that you are waiting for her, that your attachment runs deeper than hers, she will become complacent. She will allow you to take the reins, basking in the attention while feeling no need to reciprocate. This is where many men inadvertently diminish their own worth. Rather than maintaining an air of mystery, they pursue relentlessly. Instead of regulating their emotions, they lay them bare. Instead of presenting themselves as a captivating challenge, they become all too predictable. Once a woman perceives you as predictable, the allure fades away. Why is it that women are often drawn to uncertainty? Have you ever observed how they seem to gravitate towards men with toxic traits? Have you pondered why they repeatedly return to those who treat them poorly? The answer lies in a fundamental truth. Such men never allow her to feel entirely at ease. She never quite knows where she stands with him. One day he showers her with attention, and the next he retreats into distance. One moment he makes her feel cherished, and the next he pulls away. While many may view this behavior as cruel or manipulative, the reality is that this is precisely what women yearn for. They seek not a man who caters to their every whim, nor one who is perpetually present and accessible. They crave the thrill of pursuit, the emotional highs and lows that come with the chase. They desire the sensation that they must earn your attention. When you give your attention too freely or make yourself overly available, you extinguish the flame of attraction almost instantly. Unfortunately, many men are socialized to believe the opposite is true. Society often tells them to be the nice guy, to be available, to demonstrate their care, to express how much she means to them. Yet, when they do all of this, she may ultimately walk away. Why? Because she realizes that she has you within her grasp. There is no need for her to chase, no mystery left to unravel, no challenge remaining to conquer. This is why the most alluring quality a man can possess is a complete detachment from the outcome, a nonchalance about how things unfold. He should never care more than she does, making her question her standing with him. That uncertainty is what keeps her intrigued. Consider the subtle ways you may be undermining your own value without even realizing it. Each time you send a second text without receiving a reply, you diminish your worth. Each time you feel compelled to explain yourself, you weaken your position. Each time you seek closure, you inadvertently hand over power to her. In her mind, she may think, if he cares this much, I can reclaim him whenever I wish. When she believes she can have you at her beck and call, her desire for you will inevitably fade. Women hold respect for men who possess the strength to walk away, men who refuse to beg or plead for attention. They are drawn to those who are so engrossed in their own lives that the question of whether she returns becomes insignificant. As you transform into that man, a remarkable shift occurs. She will sense it. Suddenly, she finds herself in pursuit of you. The power dynamic can be flipped. Currently, she anticipates that you care more deeply than she does. She expects you to keep tabs on her, to be intrigued by her social media updates, and to make the first move in reaching out. But when you break that cycle by not engaging, that's when her mind begins to swirl. She starts to question her own judgments. Did she misread your feelings? Has he truly moved on? Was I ever truly a part of his life? In that moment of uncertainty, she experiences something she hasn't felt in ages: doubt. And it is doubt that beckons women back. For the first time, the tables are turned. She finds herself wrestling with her own insecurities, feeling powerless, and that's when she begins to chase after you. She reaches out, and in her realization that you are unlike any other man, confident, self-sufficient, and not easily swayed by her whims, her attraction grows. This is the ultimate mindset transformation. When you grasp that the one who holds less emotional investment ultimately emerges victorious, your perception of women will change forever. You will no longer chase after them, nor will you plead for their attention. The days of sitting idly, wondering if she thinks of you, will be behind you because you will be enlightened to the truth. The very moment she feels she has completely captured your heart, her interest will wane. Conversely, when she senses that she must pursue you, her feelings will deepen. When you become the man so devoted to his own aspirations that her games become trivial, her desire for you intensifies. This is how you reclaim your power, how you regain control, and how you make her ponder the mistake of ever letting you slip away. Your absence, more than any words you might utter, wields incredible influence. Silence serves as a formidable weapon, compelling her to confront her own thoughts, regrets, and the harsh reality that you are no longer available to her. She will expect you to react, to continue fighting for her affection, to demonstrate that you still care. But when you stand firm in your silence, her entire world begins to unravel. Too many men fall into the trap of relying on words. They believe that if they can merely articulate their feelings, if they can make her see their perspective, she will inevitably return. They think that one more message, a reminiscence of shared joy, or a heartfelt confession will persuade her to realize what she's forfeited. Yet, that is not the essence of how women operate. Words lose their potency when there is no emotional connection. You might express the most profound thoughts, craft an impeccable message, or unveil your innermost feelings, but it will all be for naught if emotions are absent. Women do not feel regret when you hand them all the answers. True feelings arise from the absence of certainty, from the space where doubt thrives. Regret seeps into their hearts when faced with uncertainty. To cultivate that uncertainty in a woman's mind, one must embrace the art of disappearance. You must become an enigma, a question left unanswered. It is in this space of mystery that her thoughts begin to spiral. She finds herself pondering why you haven't made contact. Her mind drifts to all the moments that could have been altered, all the choices she might have reconsidered. She recalls the way you gazed at her, the warmth of your embrace, the intoxicating way you made her feel like the only woman in existence. Yet all of this reflection remains dormant as long as you remain a presence in her life. If she still has access to you, the weight of that nostalgia never fully settles in her heart. She must truly feel the absence to grasp the depth of her regret. She needs to sense that reaching out is no longer an option, for it is in this realization that a woman understands she may have erred. In the present moment, she believes in your availability, that you are within her reach whenever she desires. She holds on to the notion that regardless of the time that passes, you will always be an option. However, when you choose silence, when you withdraw completely from her world, the fabric of her reality begins to unravel. She starts to question everything she thought she knew. Did she misjudge you? Did you ever truly need her? As she reflects, she begins to compare you to every man who has entered her life since. In this introspection, a sensation she never anticipated begins to take hold. Doubt. That doubt will envelop her, consuming her thoughts. She will replay memories in her mind, scroll through old photographs, and sift through past messages, searching for answers to the mystery of your apparent ease in moving forward without her. This feeling is far more potent than any words you could ever convey. Now, she grapples with an experience she never expected, being ignored. Women are accustomed to the chase, to men who bend under pressure and falter at the first hint of distance. But when she witnesses your steadfastness, when she realizes you have truly slipped away, a profound sense of powerlessness washes over her. It is at this moment that genuine regret begins to take root. Not when you send a text, not when you lay out your feelings, not when you strive to take the high road, but instead, when you choose to do absolutely nothing. That is when her thoughts spiral into, did I make a mistake? That is when she finds herself frequently glancing at her phone, hoping to see your name light up the screen. That is when she starts to pay even closer attention to your social media, scrolling through your pictures late into the night, consumed by curiosity about whether you are with someone new. Yet, she will never voice her inner turmoil. She will never concede to regret, for that would imply relinquishing control. Instead, she will craft posts designed to catch your eye, portraying an image of relentless happiness. She will do everything in her power to project an illusion of having moved on. But beneath the surface, she lingers in wait. She waits for you to respond, waits for you to bridge the silence, waits for you to break the stillness that has settled between you. And when that silence persists, the true sense of panic sets in. She begins to grasp that perhaps, just perhaps, it was she who lost something truly precious. Perhaps you are not merely another fleeting presence in her life. Perhaps you are not as easily replaced as she once believed. As these realizations sink in, they gnaw at her insides. This is the reason the man who vanishes entirely becomes etched in her memory, for he transforms into the one she can never reclaim. Nothing haunts a woman quite like the memory of the man who never returned. When it comes to desire, there is a clear truth. If she genuinely wanted you, she would make her presence known. When a woman truly longs for a man to be a part of her life, she does not hesitate or make excuses. There are no mixed signals or ambiguous intentions. Women do not linger, waiting for a sign to reach out to a man they authentically desire. They do not remain in silence, observing from a distance, hoping he will take the initiative. They are proactive. They pursue their desires and ensure they are seen. However, if she is merely watching from the sidelines, lingering in the shadows, doing everything except making the first move, there lies an undeniable truth. You are not a priority in her life. She may entertain thoughts of you, perhaps even miss you, but she does not value you enough to take that necessary step forward. This distinction separates men who squander their time on a woman from those who recognize their own worth. A man of high value does not sit idly, wondering why she hasn't reached out. He does not delve into overanalyzing her silence. He does not allow himself to be misled by the fact that she is viewing his social media stories or checking his profile. He understands an unyielding truth. If she truly wanted him, she would be there, actively engaging. She wouldn't leave uncertainties hanging in the air. She wouldn't test the waters with vague gestures. She wouldn't create unnecessary confusion. A woman who genuinely desires a man will do whatever it takes to ensure he knows it. She does not lean on social media interactions for validation. She does not hide behind her pride or wait for the perfect moment. Instead, she creates the moment. But if she remains silent, doing everything possible except reaching out, it becomes clear that you were never her first choice. She keeps you in her orbit, not because she plans on returning, but because she wants to keep the door slightly ajar, just in case. This is a harsh reality that many men struggle to accept. She's not mulling over the courage to send you a text. She's not sitting idly by her phone, weighing whether or not to reach out. She is not searching for a sign to take action. If she truly wanted you, none of that would matter. She would set aside her pride, make the call, send the message, and do whatever is necessary to bring you back into her life. But in this moment, she is choosing silence, and that silence speaks volumes. The man who understands this dynamic never waits in limbo. He never doubts himself. He doesn't linger, hoping for a change of heart, for he knows that if she had truly cherished what they shared, she would have fought to preserve it. The simple fact that she did not is all he needs to move on. Women are acutely aware of their actions and the impact those actions have on the men in their lives. They know exactly what they are doing. They understand the power of silence, how it can lead a man into a whirlwind of overthinking, how the fog of uncertainty can stir desperation within him, and how just a sprinkle of attention can keep him emotionally ensnared. This is precisely why so many men find themselves entangled in a state of limbo. torn between the hope of her return and the struggle to convince themselves that they have truly moved on. Yet, a man who genuinely values himself refuses to engage in such games. He does not chase after validation from a woman who, through her actions rather than her words, has shown that he isn't significant enough for her to fight for. He does not squander his time trying to decipher her silence. He does not linger in the shadows, pondering whether she still thinks of him, if she still holds any feelings, or if she regrets her departure. Because he recognizes a fundamental truth. If she truly wanted him, she would be by his side. There would be no mixed signals, no mind games, no hesitation, only decisive action. Women do not waste their time on men they deem valuable. They do not risk losing men they genuinely desire. They do not sit in silence when they understand that such silence could result in losing someone irreplaceable. The moment you grasp this reality, you will no longer find yourself waiting for a woman. You will not linger in hope that she will reach out. You will abandon the habit of scrutinizing her social media presence, searching for hidden messages that may never exist. The only message that holds any weight is the one she never communicated. When a woman chooses to say nothing, that silence speaks volumes. A high-value man does not pause his life, waiting for a woman to come to terms with his worth. He does not stall, hoping one day she will awaken to the reality of what she has lost. Instead, he propels himself forward. He redirects his focus onto himself, building his empire, transforming into the man she will ultimately regret letting go. When that moment arrives, when she finally comprehends the depth of her loss, she may reach out. But by then, it will be too late. The man she once walked away from has evolved. He is now stronger, sharper, and truly untouchable. The greatest regret a woman can experience is the realization that the man she once had is now forever beyond her reach. Stop pursuing shadows. Cease waiting for signs that will never materialize. The moment you understand the nature of women and accept that she may observe but never initiate, contact is the moment you liberate yourself from the illusion. Move forward. Elevate yourself. Become the man she will regret losing. Embrace your worth and embody it. You are the prize. Act accordingly.